Welcome to my patch 8.18 note rundown, patch notes rundown. I'm not exactly sure the exact specifics that I call it. Usually, as we're approaching the World Championships, these patches are fairly small. I heard from my chat before I started doing this that people told me this is a really, really small patch. Not sure exactly what it's supposed to hit. It specifies right here at the very beginning that 8.18 brings us to the first wave of changes focused on World Championship later this year, meaning that there will be at least one more before the World Championship happens, okay? Reigning and outliers who are dominant pick bans, as well as likely to take over once those outliers are addressed. In other words, it means buffing champions. Other times it means buffing champions who are the cusp of consideration. Picks we've nerfed earlier in the season. In a few cases, 8.19 will contain another round of changes. So last two changes before Worlds. Not many changes. The meta is kind of locked in stone. So what's going to happen? So I watched a lot of NALCS over the weekend, and I noticed that there were generally when playoffs starts coming around, there's a really high amount of tank play again. I mean, that could be something that they're looking to look at. There's also a surprisingly high amount of like specific play in certain champions in certain positions. Urgot's seen some surprisingly high amount of play, maybe not in NA, but in other regions from what I understand, and so maybe they'll touch on some of these, but I don't really know what to expect from the nerf, because they're not going to be targeting the overall game health, they're going to be targeting specifically the game health that comes for the World Championships. So let's keep going. Nexus splits off, I don't care. Aatrox. Aatrox's passive healing increased at later ranks. Our bonus attack damage increased at later ranks. Our last of Aatrox changes brought his lane bullying under control, giving us room to improve his scaling in the later phases of the game. World Ender, okay. Bonus attack damage increased. Healing increased later. I still think it's really difficult to balance Aatrox by giving him 20% healing at rank 1. So I think that they changed Aatrox 2, 3, 4, 5 different times now to try to make him a better late game champion but worse early game champion. And I find that the easier way to balance it would have been to have him start at a lower percentage early, or only have this percentage. Oh, actually they did do that. So this is actually just the champion versus the percentage versus champions, but I think if they did that earlier, they wouldn't have had to touch Aatrox as much. I have not seen much Aatrox in the last month. I think I've seen one Aatrox player. He smashed me. But aside from that, generally 2 Aatroxes. I haven't seen any of this champion, so I don't know exactly how strong Aatrox is at the moment. They're saying that Aatrox could need more help late game, which is something that inherently was a problem with him even when he was very, very strong. So I'm not quite sure his current power level. He may see some play. Certainly the tank meta is back, but it seems like the strength of the current tanks, what he's supposed to counterpick, is so high that you may not see Aatrox at the moment, even with him it being favorable for him. I guess we'll see. Akali, this champ is broken, so I'm hoping that they nerf her a little bit. They're trimming a little bit of damage off of her ulti. Okay, on both casts, there's 40 damage off every level. That's good, I guess. I was maybe hoping for a little bit more. I don't really know. No, when Lady gets her, I think that like you typically play around her double Q cast that she uses the wave clear, and you stand off the wave and then punish her afterwards. However, it's really dangerous because due to her cloud, she's able to kind of go crazy. I think that there's too little downtime when it comes to being able to punish Akali, but outside of specific champions. So I think that she could definitely use a nerf. This is a good one in the right direction. Maybe they're just going to see how it affects her and then maybe potentially nerf her again on the next patch. I think that this isn't going to matter too much for her, and she's still going to see a lot of play. Braum, base health decreased. Okay, Braum is pretty Braum is really annoying. He's a champion similar to Kench, similar to Kindred, that denies you from making plays. And Braum is can do that at every E cooldown in the game. So not only that, he also has a lot of CC that he gives to his team. So he's really, really strong. I don't mind the base stat nerfs. Cool. Caixa, passive damage decrease at later ranks. Okay, this is actually great because I think Kai'Sa's broken. I know Kai'Sa's broken. Caixa is by far the best AD in the game. She's flexible to be played any type of comp. She has multiple different item builds and item paths she can go. She can do both types of physical and magical damage. And I think that like she's just nuts. Like she scales super well, and she's good at split pushing. And she essentially takes Vayne's job in game and is better than Vayne at it. So I think that being able to tone down her kit in some way, shape, or form is good. The nerf wasn't that much, but yeah, I expected the nerf to be more. But I thought Caixa was like disgusting. I still think she's disgusting. So she's like, take this nerf, not even matter. But this is a step in the right direction, sure. And I think for competitive it'll matter a little bit because late game team fights do happen that are much more important in those games than the Fiesta style solo queue games I'm getting right now. Lucian, Q damage ratio increased at later ranks. Okay, they increased it by 0.2. We nerfed Lucian's baseline damage a few patches ago when he emerged as a premier bot laner. I think Lucian's always been a feast or famine character because his range is so short, so if he doesn't go off, he's really difficult to play. I do like that they're looking to buff him a little bit more late game, and I think that like he might need a little bit of late game strength, so I don't mind this at all. I think it's nice. Renekton, Empowered E increased. Empowered E armor reduction increased at early ranks. Oh, they gave him better armor reduction at early ranks. That's so good. We're raising Renekton's Empowered E potential as a means for him to throw his early game strength around the lane, widening the range of lane matchups he can confidently play into. These changes also amplify the fallback value Empowered E gives in games where Renekton falls behind. Oh. Wow. That's really funny because as the tank meta has kind of occurred, so some of the things that beat tanks are like, Renekton, and Aatrox. And they're buffing tank killers right now, which is really surprising. I'm curious if they're gonna nerf like stuff like Scion or other tanks like Cho'Gath. We already skipped C, right? So there's no way they're nerfing Cho'Gath. Those two are like the premier tanks right now, and they're both pretty ridiculous to be honest. But you know what? I don't mind this. I think it's nice. It's I don't think Renekton's really hitting that bar where he needs to be able to be impressive, and to be even wanted as a pick. And I think these will kind of help him better define like his role. Rise, Empowered W duration decreased. In pro versus normal, discrepancy has yet again led to a ubiquitous presence in competitive play, despite rough performances everywhere else. We're targeting Rise's EW route for power down as pros are most reliably able to coordinate successful ganks catches around it. I like this a lot. I think 2-second guaranteed snare was ridiculous. Even in solo queue play, it was really hard to deal with. And I think that he's still going to be strong without it. I do think this is a really big nerf to Rise. Before you could get like if your full rotation easily off, even at max range. Now, especially if the other player goes Merc Treads, you may not even be guaranteed a Q or multiple Qs or multiple spells off your bind. So, sure, I like this. Sedge, E base damage decreased, R slow damage duration decreased. Really? Was Sedge so powerful that they need to nerf her? I only saw her in conjunction with a lot of really good synergistic picks. Stuff like Aurelia Sedge is really popular in competitive play because it really can proc Sedge's permafrost really quickly due to her auto resets. And so I saw that a lot. I'm just really surprised and shocked that she needed a nerf. Slow explosion slow duration from 3 to 1 second. I don't know necessarily she needs a nerf. Luckily, this is like kind of big. This is like fairly small, and so it's not too bad. Maybe they thought she was a little bit too oppressive. Sure. Trundle, E cooldown increased. Okay, I like it. E slow decrease at early ranks, increase at later ranks. Tune down the frequency and potency of Trundle's crowd control to reduce the Troll King's effectiveness and set up ganks and favorable team fights, especially in competitive play. I like it. I think Trundle is really, really strong in competitive play. I think, especially if you're going to nerf Sedge, nerfing one of Sedge's counters is a good way to go too. Vayne buff. What? They're all in on making Worlds exciting. Okay. I know there's some Vayne item builds that didn't max Q first. Like you go 3 points in the Q and then max W, and rush Bork or rush Storm Razor or rush the multi-hit range item, on-hit item. And any of the builds where you don't max up your first is great. Even level 1 or 2 or 3, this is great. 2 seconds off your tumble is huge for Vayne, especially early, to be able to put pressure in. And Vayne actually doesn't have as bad of a laning phase as people think. It's just like, especially level 1, she's able to be quite oppressive. So this is a very nice buff for her. I'm very surprised they decided to buff Vayne randomly out of nowhere for Worlds. Victor, first Hex Core cost decreased. Okay. Well, this buffs Victor a lot. Even 100 gold off is something that is a big deal for Victor, because buying the first upgrade essentially is like when Victor turns online. His wave clear gets really good, his poke gets really good, and that's a really nice buff. Really, really good buff. Smite. Hoth and Nexus splits presses. If there's assigned jungle and draft, you'll be loading the champ select with Smite already selected. You're still free to swap out Smite or swap the Smite if you aren't assigned jungle in cases where you're running an offbeat comp or want to switch roles with a teammate. Oh, right. Okay, that's interesting. Okay, cool. I like this, actually. Means when I tab out when I'm playing jungle that I don't mess up. Whoops. It's John12. Thanks for the sub. Welcome to the stream. Fix a bug when needed. Is that it? This is a nice quality of life up. Is that really it? Yeah, I'm even reading the bugs. I'm trying to find something. Okay. The new game mode looks cool. I think the Riot, speaking of just as an aside, I think Riot having these PvE game modes is really exciting and really, really fun. I remember the Star Guardian game mode being really enjoyable. Not specifically for me as much as for like all my housemates, as well as a lot of people I knew. On top of that, like they went all out with these Guardians of the Galaxy skins. Each of them have their own like unique splash, which looks cool, looks sick. I think especially the Sona skin is really nice, and I like the Malphite skin a lot. But I think that just might be because this is the first time I've seen Malphite show an expression that's not just like a stone face, you know. So this is a really short patch. I think that they did a lot of good things with the patch. I like the fact that they buffed Victor, you know. I like the small buff to Vayne. I like the nerf to Rise. I like the buff to Renekton. I like the Caixa nerf. I like the Braum nerf. I like the Akali nerf. You know, I think they did a lot of really, really small changes. And to be honest, I think it's really hard for me to ask for much more when Worlds is on the way. I think this is the best I'm going to get at the time. And with that being said, it was an okay patch. Above average patch. It's just you're not able to change too much before Worlds. I think that it's good that they're not changing that much. Okay. I think for the next patch, they should keep their eyes on Urgot. He's starting to see a ton of competitive play all over the place. That's something that I would definitely keep my eyes open for right before Worlds. Anyways, really, really short patch rundown. Sure, that's it. All right, cool. Let's get back in the game. Play some mats.